Like, comment, and subscribe.
In a small village of Uttar Pradesh lived a farmer named Ramnath. He was a simple man, honest, hardworking, and gentle by nature. He owned a small piece of land, just enough to feed his family with the crops he grew. The village, however, was under the control of a landlord, Thakur Sahib. He was cruel, arrogant, and greedy. He exploited the poor farmers, forced them into unpaid labor, and collected heavy taxes. Whoever dared to oppose him was punished harshly. Ramnath, though calm and peace-loving, was always on the landlord's radar, because Thakur Sahib had his eyes on Ramnath's fertile land. One day, Thakur Sahib's men forcefully harvested Ramnath's ripe wheat crop. Shocked, Ramnath rushed to Thakur Sahib's mansion and pleaded, "Master, why have you taken away my harvest? It was the result of my hard work. This land belongs to me. You are merely a laborer cultivating it. Whatever grows here is mine. But Sahib, I pay the rent on time. Why snatch the food from my children's mouths? Enough. Don't argue with me. If you can't tolerate it, leave the village." Ramnath's heart broke. At home, his wife wept bitterly. "What sin have we committed to deserve this? We toiled day and night, yet the grain isn't ours." The injustice didn't stop there. Days later, in the name of Bagar, Thakur Sahib ordered Ramnath to work in his fields, chop wood, and repair his house. Ramnath, helpless, obeyed, but one day, exhausted from work, he sat down for a moment. Thakur Sahib stormed out in anger, shouted before everyone, and struck him with a stick. The villagers watched in silence, afraid to speak, afraid to oppose. Ramnath swallowed the insult quietly, but inside, his heart burned with rage. That night, his wife said tearfully, "How long will you endure this humiliation? Why don't you fight back?" Ramnath sighed deeply and replied, "The time hasn't come yet. But remember this. One day, injustice is always avenged. Justice may be delayed, but it never fails." His wife looked into his eyes and saw a strange fire of determination. She said no more. Months later, a terrible drought struck the village. The wells dried up, the ponds cracked open, and people cried for water. Even Thakur Sahib's vast fields were withering in the sun. But Ramnath had prepared wisely. Earlier during the rains, he had built a small dam near the pond, storing water for future use. Now he had enough water for drinking and for his crops. The tables had turned. The villagers were desperate, and even the mighty landlord was helpless. Thakur Sahib came to Ramnath's hut. "Ramnath, give me some water from your dam. I will reward you. Master, when you seized my crop, did you think of how my children would survive? When you struck me before everyone, did you think of my honor? Today, you ask for my water? This is the fruit of my labor. I cannot give it to you." Thakur Sahib trembled with rage, but now he had no power. Without water, his crops dried up completely. The villagers whispered among themselves, "See how justice has been served. The oppressor who tormented the poor now begs for mercy and finds none." Ramnath, however, shared his water with the villagers so they could survive. But not a single drop was given to Thakur Sahib. Soon, Thakur Sahib's wealth and lands lost their value. His arrogance melted away. Meanwhile, Ramnath became respected in the village, not through violence, but through patience, wisdom, and justice. Premchand conveys through this tale, injustice and oppression can never last forever. Patience and hard work are the greatest forms of revenge. Those who rob others of their rights will one day lose everything. True strength lies not in cruelty, but in endurance and righteousness.